humanity, melancholy. These are some of the elements in this movie you will see, and it will make you very sad to be human. I'm back! First review of 2022. Let's get it going. I've not reviewed a single movie this whole year, and we're in February already. I was geeked for Morbius, but Morbius is not coming until April. But I watched KIMI, Steven Soderbergh's latest movie on HBO Max, written by David Kopp. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, Steven Soderbergh, post-retirement, came out of retirement, has made more content, more movies, more videos than he has in the 80s and 90s, and probably even in the 2000s. Dude's just like cranking out movies left and right, and I'm just living for it because every time he makes a movie, at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting. And that is the case with KIMI. I didn't watch any trailers, didn't read anything about KIMI. I just knew it had Zoe Kravitz in it, and that was it. Zoe Kravitz is playing Angela Childs, and she is like a data analyst person for like a Siri/Alexa company, and theirs is called KIMI, hence the movie title. And she has to review like errors or glitches where KIMI didn't understand the person asking them questions, and she comes upon a mystery, a crime, and she intends to solve it, and that's the movie, and it's an hour and 30 minutes, and it goes by in an instant. You'll be watching it thinking like, man, this movie is really ramping up. It's really ramping up. End of movie. And that's what I like about Steven Soderbergh is like, he is not afraid to end a movie when it needs to end. He knows that you gotta ramp up the action, the intensity, the craziness, and he nails it with KIMI. It's just like, there's no time wasted. There's no stone unturned here. You get everything. Everything makes sense. Everything has its reason for being in the movie. There are small missteps here and there, but overall, it's a great movie. It's a great watch. If you got HBO Max, you got to check it out. Zoe Kravitz is amazing here because she's playing someone that's like agoraphobic and afraid to go outside, and this takes place during COVID, so like she has all these problems and they fester and they come back up and she's afraid to leave the house again with some caveats. And so that's where the Rear Window stuff comes in, because you're like, oh, she's trying to solve this mystery, but it's like a digital version of Rear Window, but it goes beyond that. It just that's like the setup, and then it goes beyond Rear Window. Audiophiles are gonna love this movie. She breaks out so much audio equipment in this movie. It's something that I even have at home, and I was like, oh dang, okay. Her apartment is amazing. I want to live there. It was shot in Los Angeles, but the exteriors were in Seattle. It took place in Seattle. But whatever that apartment was, I want it. It's just a wild ride, a really fun ride, a good movie to start 2022 with, and it's just crazy that Steven Soderbergh is still making movies, even though he said he wouldn't a long time ago. But that's what we like about filmmakers. They just can't stop making movies, and when you're good at it, why stop? I mean, Soderbergh is one of the best. Keep making movies. I would give this 8 out of 10 KIMIs. It is very fun, very exciting, very quick. Zoe Kravitz is great. She plays a great character in this movie, and she's confident, but also neurotic and just like weirded out by everything. Anyways, goodbye.
I went into this movie not really knowing what to expect. Like, I heard Peter Dinklage and I was like, sign me up, I'm in here for it, I love him. But you had already kind of seen the play.
I am an English literature theater nerd. That was my major in college. So Cyrano, what we're talking about, is obviously it's a celebrated play.
Yes.
For the theater, for the stage, and has been adapted, I would say, a lot. I'm sure there's other Cyrano movies.
Yeah.
And different ways you can interpret this show, but it is a punch to the gut in multiple ways.
And if you love your modern day like romance movies, this is it, but set way back. I'm thinking like medieval, like, you know, times.
I mean,
like,
I will say, you know, Peter Dinklage, it's not a far cry from Game of Thrones,
Yes.
like kind of stylistically. Cyrano is the story of a man who is in love with this beautiful woman, Roxanne. In the play, it's always just kind of written as he's kind of ugly, he's kind of different, maybe he has a big nose, and so he feels like he can't really, she would never love him.
Yeah.
But they connect on like an emotional, spiritual level
Yes.
through writing letters and words, and they're good friends. But she falls in love with this beautiful man who comes in, who is beautiful and kind, but not very smart.
yes.
And obviously in this movie, the way that they adapt that is with Peter Dinklage, who is very handsome, but he's a little person.
Yes.
So I love that take on Cyrano's difference.
Absolutely.
Is something that he cannot control at all.
Yeah. You know, he says kind of in the movie is that he doesn't think he's worthy of her love because of how he looks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, if that's not like society now and like the things that we all go through now, it's like, you know, you could be the best writer of all time or like have a way to swoon somebody with your words, but if you don't look the part, then you'll never be the part.
Or if you think you don't.
Yes, or if you think you don't.
Like,
and it's a confidence thing too.
Yeah.
You know? And the other thing too that I was not expecting going into this movie, there's music. It's a musical.
It's a full-on musical.
Like, I mean, it's not like your Les Mis type, they sing the entire movie.
No.
That's not it. But there are a lot of songs in this, like, gut-wrenching songs that will tear your heart out, and it was incredible. Peter can sing.
Oh, yeah.
Christian can sing.
Ooh.
Roxanne, obviously, is beautiful. She can sing.
But that, they kind of, we kind of talked about this, they kind of hid that a little in the trailer. It's not overt in the trailer, like when you're watching to see if you want to see this movie, that it is a musical.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just saying there's like a couple of songs.
I
Like, they
literally
break out into songs.
I literally looked at Lauren in the middle of the movie and I was like, I didn't know this was a musical. And she was like, yeah, they really hid that from everybody, I think. So I loved it, though. I loved that part. I think it gave it extra.
It's very theatrical.
Yeah.
It's very, like, clearly adapted from a stage play.
Yeah.
The way they talk is very, it's like a step away from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
It's not as, like, flowery and hard to understand as Shakespeare, but it's, like, up there with, like, we're just saying all the things that we feel all the time. I know we always kind of just like everything that we watch, but this is, I think, a little different than what, you know, we usually go see a little, you know, like lighter stuff. Like, this is
deep.
Some deep, gonna make you sad.
Yeah.
I mean, no happy ending here. I mean, no spoilers that Cyrano has been out there
For a long time.
forever. No happy ending here, really.
It's not my typical movie like I said, the medieval, like back in the 1800s type times. I'm not really attracted to those type of movies, but this one I would go see again because I just thought the story within itself and the actors, it's just, it's so good. Like, you know, I'm a sucker for romance, and the way with words that Peter Dinklage has to give his love, it's just like, I can't even describe it. It's so good.
If you were like a literature nerd like me and has read Cyrano or seen it before or anything like that, this is a really cool adaptation of the story that has been out there for a long time.
How many, let's see.
Oh, how many love letters?
I was thinking the same thing. I swear to you, I was just about to say that. Yes. How many love letters would we give this?
I'm gonna give it a 9. It has stayed with me. Like, I still feel like I feel like you and I, usually when the movie's over, we'll just like get up and I'm like, oh, that was great. I feel like we kind of sat through the credits for a few seconds being like, oh, wow.
Well, the way it ends, it's just like you have to sit there and just think, what did I just watch?
The feeling has stayed with me, and I have thought about wanting to see it again and wanting to listen to the music more. I think that's the sign of a good movie or a good anything that any kind of media you consume. If it makes you think and it makes you still kind of be sitting in the feeling that it gave you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay. I was thinking I'm going to give it I'm going to say an 8.
Yeah.
I would say, because not my favorite love story of all time, but it was really one that I went in thinking one way and came out thinking another. So props for that. Like it really made me enjoy that type of period piece.
Go see it. Maybe
Cyrano.
Oh,
that was Italian, but
that's close. Bring some tissues.
Yes.
Be prepared to sit in your feelings.
I could hear the girls. There was a few girls in front of us, kind of to the left. I could hear them at the end, like, kind of sniffling a little bit because I didn't shed any tears, but I was close to it. It was, people in there took it hard.
I cried a couple. There's two main moments, and it was there.
Yeah.
I was holding it back. But yeah, go see Cyrano. Go see Peter Dinklage. Kill it.
Literally, kill it.
Welcome to another review. I watched After Yang, the latest by Kogonada, who is a South Korean filmmaker, and he has made a very, very melancholic movie in After Yang. Oh, I'm still reeling from it. I watched it earlier today, and I'm still reeling from it. That's how amazing, emotional, just like powerful movements and like emotional movements in my body. I just am still feeling the weight of this movie. After Yang stars Colin Farrell and Jodie Turner-Smith. They're playing a married couple who have a Chinese kid that they've adopted, Mika, and they have bought this Techno Sapien, which is an android for Mika, and he's played by Justin H. Min, and that's Yang, who the title of the movie is after. And he stops working, and the family goes sort of through a grief crisis, is the best way to say it. And man, it's just an open-ended plot. Basically, you start off this movie, you're like, wow, this is gonna be something, and then it's not that, and then some more things unravel, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be this, and then it isn't, and then it's emotional, it's about grief, it's about humanity, it's about what it is to live, what it is to have consciousness, what it is to just understand and be somebody in this world and in a family, and as a brother, as a sister, as a husband, as a wife, as a mom, as a dad, as a whoever. It's about all of these things, but it's so quiet, it's so subtle, it's very melancholic. I've said that several times already, but it truly is. It is just a great meditation on what it is to feel grief, what it is to feel sadness, what it is to feel just not knowing what you want to feel and not understanding why you can't understand those things. There's clones in this movie, there's androids in this movie. It doesn't really dwell on those things, it just presents them as the facts of life, because this is in the near future and they reference things from our time now, but overall it's just a very beautiful film. Made me feel some type of way. You know what? I'll admit it. Uncontrollably in the middle or almost through the full movie, I just started tearing up because I was feeling the weight of these emotions. And this is something I think about a lot. Is like, what is my purpose? Why do I feel sad sometimes and can't explain it? And I think that's a valid thing to think as a human, because the world's kind of chaos right now, and none of us really know what's happening, but what we do know is we have people we love, family we love, and we have to hold together tight as long as we can, and then process this world together. And I think that's what a beautiful thing, and even though this movie is melancholic and sad in some parts, it is a hopeful sort of movie, because you see this family go through this struggle together, and it's just, man, it's just, whoo boy, the acting is just subtle and amazing. Colin Farrell, he's one of my favorite actors, and he just crushes it every role he's in, even True Detective Season 2. He's just perfect, and he's great in this role. Jodie Turner-Smith is amazing here. Justin H. Min, oh my God, the performance he put out is great. Haley Lu Richardson, even though she isn't in it that long. Just everything about this movie I love, and it's weird that back to back I've seen probably what are going to be in my top 10 for this year in March. First the Batman and now After Yang. I would give this a 10 out of 10. Intro titles playing over the family doing a dance-off contest against 30,000 other families. It's amazing. It's sad. It's not going to be for everyone. It could be for everyone if they're in the right emotional state, but it is wonderful. Film fans are going to love it. Colin Farrell fans are going to love it. If you like being melancholy, you're going to like it. If you want to get in your cries and your feels, you're going to like it. I'm still processing this movie. It is wonderful. Goodbye.
I saw Vengeance. Vengeance. I saw Vengeance. I cannot say that word. Written and directed and starring BJ Novak from The Office. He wrote with Mindy Kaling like over half of the episodes of The Office, so we have him to thank for all the quotes that we see all the time. It's a very small independent movie. Actually, I'm not sure if it's independent because Blumhouse is producing it. It feels small. BJ Novak plays a kind of a journalist slash podcast wannabe person. He dates a lot and doesn't know how to love. And that bites him in the butt eventually because one of his former hookups eventually gets murdered, and she told her parents that they're actually a lot closer than they actually were, and so he feels obliged to go to her funeral in like middle of nowhere Texas, and he discovers, they think that she's murdered when she probably isn't, so he's gonna make a podcast about, it's this like really pretentious, over the top it's about America and it's going to be about this. And eventually he learns to love and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the movie is really good. I enjoy this movie a lot. BJ Novak is a great writer. We've known that for like 20 years almost now. This is his first time directing a feature film, and I can't wait to see what he makes next. He's not exactly like, he's not a filmmaker where there's like lots of dramatic push-ins and stuff like that. It's very simple, but it's a very effective small movie. And what makes this movie so charming is a lot of he's from New York and they're from Texas, and they both kind of judge each other, based off of the internet and stereotypes, but they both sides of the coin, we're not all that different. And I love that schmaltzy stuff. I love it so much. The movie is kind of a mess near the end. It doesn't really stick the landing, but the journey to get there is so worth watching. It is fascinating. It's extremely entertaining. It's well paced until the end. And I think there's a lot to like in this movie. I don't see why someone wouldn't like this movie unless they're ridiculously cynical. Don't really have much else to say. Just go see this movie. Please, you'll like it. You'll like it a lot. I give Vengeance 9 vengeances out of 10. 9 out of 10. I can't say that word to save my life. Vengeance. Got it.
Hello everyone. I watched Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, as you can already guess by clicking on this video. It was directed by Adama Ebo, and her sister helped produce the movie, and it is basically Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall star as this husband and wife, mega church pastor and the first wife duo who get embroiled in a scandal where he has allegedly hooked up with some dudes, and it's like they're making a documentary about that. So the story is in flux between this documentary, mockumentary thing, and what they're actually going through. And there's also another church that is about to open as they're trying to have their reopening during this scandal. So it's a lot of competing things. It's just a great movie. And when you have Sterling K. Brown and you have Regina Hall in this movie, they just absolutely carry the movie 100,000%. Their acting is what is worth watching. The story also is great because, like I previously mentioned, it's a mockumentary satire of that culture of like these men taking advantage of their congregation and using the money that they're given to live this decadent lifestyle, while people that come to their church may not be, might have the most money, but they're giving up their money because they believe in God and Jesus, and that this guy, this evangelist, is here to help them, when in fact he just wants more cars, more money, more Gucci, more Bugatti, more all these other designer clothes and all that stuff. And Regina Hall's character is just along for the ride because she likes that lifestyle. Where it elevates beyond a satire and a mockumentary is when it cuts to the real life portion of these two characters, Lee Curtis Childs and Trinity Childs. It is very, 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 very serious. There are some very serious allegations happening here. This is a pastor that has preached about homosexuality and how it's a sin, yet he is doing these things on the side, cheating on his wife, doing all types of sins. Dama Ebo, the director and writer, she's dealing with a lot of things here, and she knows throughout the movie when to pull back. So there's easy points where you can be the mockumentary satire, but you have to pull back and be the real stuff. And that's where the movie shines, is the real stuff. And those two moments obviously collide at some point. And it's just a great watch. It sucks that it's not doing well at the box office. But if you got Peacock, it's on Peacock. It's well worth the watch. Sterling K. Brown, I mean, the dude could act with nothing. He could do his own one-man show for sure. And I don't know his film, I don't know his stage work or anything like that, but he probably has already. Anyways, Regina Hall is also amazing. I'm still upset that she was wasted in Me Time, but hey, sometimes you gotta secure the bag. When you're an actor, sometimes you take some roles for fun, from the people you like to work with, and then sometimes you do stuff like this where you really want to show that you're a great actor or actress. And Regina Hall is the lifeblood of this movie, and I want to see more dramatic turns from her. I would give it an 8 out of 10 honks for Jesus. Well, I'd honk it for this movie. And it's just great acting, great directing, great writing. All across the board, it's really fun. Just also not doing well at the box office. But it's on Peacock, so okay.
Un esercito di